Hare Krishna. The Supreme Consciousness, Ishvara, is similar to the living entity. In this way, both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be pervertedly reflected by the covering of material circumstance, just as light reflected through colored glass may appear to be certain color, but the consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected. Lord Krishna says, Maya Dhaya Kshena Prakriti. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. If he were so affected, he would be unfit to speak on transcendental matters, as he does in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. So the Lord is not materially contaminated. Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that we have to purify this materially contaminated consciousness.
Okay, let's discuss this. So, the consciousness of the Lord and the living entity both are transcendental. This has to be always remembered. Transcendental means beyond the modes of material nature. Transcendental means one is not thinking about sense gratification. Transcendental means that consciousness which is only interested in pure devotional service and nothing else. So the consciousness of the Lord as well as the Jivatma. Originally, Jivatma is transcendental. But due to association with matter, now Jivatma has many other priorities other than Bhakti. But this is not the original state of being. The original state of being of the living entities in the spiritual world is exclusive devotional service and nothing else. And that devotional service is 24/7. So this is contamination, what we are living right now. We don't want to do bhakti, we don't want to serve the Lord. We only want to think about our own sense gratification. We want to think about our comfort, not the Lord's comfort. So this is not our original. We are under some kind of a magic spell. So we are not behaving naturally. So in pure consciousness, we have not reached till there. One very important point that someone may say, oh, we became to the material world, so our consciousness got affected. So when the Lord will come, his consciousness will also get affected. So this is the difference between Jivatma and Bhagwan. Bhagwan is Mayadhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sa Characharam. Wherever he goes, he is the Lord. But with Jivatma, that may or may not be the case. If Jivatma is thinking about serving the Lord, then he is safe. Then his consciousness is transcendental. But the moment he starts thinking about sense gratification, he will never be in his original consciousness. But the Lord never wants sense gratification, never thinks of sense gratification. So therefore, wherever he goes, he is always the Lord. His consciousness is gunatit. Continue reading. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us, what is the main teaching of the Bhagavad Gita? Why Bhagavad Gita was spoken? How to purify materially contaminated consciousness. If somebody asks you why Bhagavad Gita was spoken, just to make the materially contaminated consciousness pure again. Continue.
In pure consciousness, our action will be our action will be
dovetailed.
Doubted to the will of the Ishvara, and that will make us happy. It is not that we have to cease all activities. Rather, our activities are to be purified, and purified activities are called Bhakti. Activities in Bhakti appear to be like ordinary activities, but they are not contaminated. An ignorant person may see that a devotee is acting or working like an ordinary man, but such a person with poor fund of knowledge does not know that the activities of devotee or of the Lord are not contaminated by impure consciousness or matter. They are transcendental to the three modes of nature. We should know, however, that at this point our consciousness is contaminated. When we are materially contaminated, we are called conditioned.
False consciousness is exhibited under the impression that I am a product of material nature. This is called false ego.
So what is false ego? False ego is to think I am this body, or I am the product of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and my false ego. This is me. This is false ego. So there is something called as true ego. What is that true ego?
Thinking that I am the part and parcel of the Paramatma.
Sorry? Come again?
I am a Jivatma, part and parcel of the Paramatma.
This is the, but what is true ego?
And I am meant to serve the body. I am the body.
True ego means I am the body.
I am servant of Krishna, eternal servant of
So this is what? You have to think like this or feel like this or what?
Absolutely. And I am the spirit soul.
think, act.
Yeah, you have to realize this. You have to realize this and follow. Theoretically, every person even the cow which is grazing the grass outside, it has heard so many lectures here. Even that cow will be able to tell I am not this body but the spirit soul. But realization is what which matters. Realization, the proof of realization is action. If our actions don't show this, that means you have not realized it. We just know it theoretically. Srila Prabhupada says, practice of philosophy is higher than the philosophy. If I know the philosophy, I am not the body, I am the spirit soul, but daily I am doing nonsense, that means you have not realized it. Or maybe you know the philosophy, but you are not practicing it, so it's no use. So true ego will come only when we start acting practically at the platform of pure devotional service. खाली दूसरे को समझाने के लिए नहीं, खुद भी करना है. Continue. One who absorbed.
One who is absorbed in the thought of bodily conceptions cannot understand his situation. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to liberate one from the bodily conception of life, and Arjuna put himself in this position in order to receive this information from the Lord. One must become free from the bodily conception of life. That is the preliminary activity for the transcendentalist. One who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. Mukti or liberation means freedom from material consciousness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also the definition of liberation is given. Mukte yatvan yatha rupam swarupena devastiti. Mukti means liberation from the contaminated consciousness of this material world and situation in pure consciousness.
Point to be noted, Mukti does not essentially mean freedom from cycle of birth and death. Constitutionally, Mukti means I will give up my material consciousness and obtain original spiritual consciousness. Swarupena vyavasthiti. Why Swarupa? My Swarupa is to serve the Lord. Whatever Swarupa I have, if I vyavasthiti, if I become situated in that Swarupa, that means I am Mukta.
So we can ask questions. What is contamination? contaminated consciousness.
To think or to act not on this Swarupa platform, that is contaminated consciousness. For instance, one is supposed to eat food. Human being is supposed to eat patram pushpam phalam toyam. But let's say if some human being breaks the glass of a car and starts eating it, it's madness. Same analogy is applicable to us. Soul is meant to serve Krishna. But when soul starts serving its own self, rather its own hallucinated desires, thinking this is what I want, this will make me happy, that is contaminated consciousness. Srila Prabhupada tells in this purport, in pure consciousness, our actions will be dovetailed with the will of Ishvara. This is pure consciousness. Whatever you do, Krishna wants it, so you are doing it. When we start doing it because I want it, that is contaminated. And only this will make us happy. Did you understand? Not aligning to the will of Krishna is contamination, and aligning to the will of Krishna, acting as per the will of Krishna, is purity. So all of us should be very pure. We should follow what Krishna says, what Guru says. Please continue reading.
All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are
Hold it, yeah.
So this mukti situation of position. Okay.
Give him the mic.
This mukti, when we are in pure consciousness, then so in mukti, we are in pure consciousness. So at that time, are we able to identify what is my constitutional position, the relationship with Krishna?
Only at the stage of prema, you will come to know. One starts acting, in this mukti is basically talking about Jivan Mukta situation. So one can be liberated or act on the liberated platform, that is above the modes of material nature, under the control of the spiritual master, even before the prema platform. So your basic Swarupa is what? You are a Krishna Das. Now everything else is a detail to it. So this is known to you. Now whether you as a Krishna Das bring water for Krishna or whether you bring honey for Krishna, this is detail. More important is to act as a servant first.
At some places, mukti is kind of divided.
Yes, because they think mukti means merging into the impersonal effulgence, or mukti means just escape from this dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So therefore devotees don't like mukti because it derides the idea of bhakti only. Like I was explaining in the previous session, many people want mukti because they don't like this material world. So this idea has got nothing to do with bhakti.
Okay, so that is not this mukti.
Yeah. This is a completely different definition. Muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. Your Swarupa is Krishna Das. When you start acting like a Krishna Das, whether you have died or not, आप जीवन मुक्त हो गए, liberated soul. This is the definition of mukti. But Mayavadis say mukti means merging in impersonal effulgence, coming out of cycle of birth and death. There are many people who come out of cycle of birth and death, go into impersonal effulgence, then again fall down. So that is not essentially called mukti. But even without dying, even without quitting your body, if you start acting on your Swarupa platform, that is mukti.
Right. Once you are in Swarupa platform, you will not be kind of interested in merging into Brahman.
Never. You will not spit at it also. So therefore those who desire impersonal Brahman, they are far away from mukti, actual mukti. Now what we'll do, we'll read, and every 15 minutes, keep noting down your questions. Every 20 minutes we'll take questions, but we'll continue reading. Today target is to complete this introduction. Please, fast.
All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are intended to awaken this pure consciousness, and therefore we find at the last stage of the Gita instruction that Krishna is asking Arjuna whether he is
You continue.
now in purified consciousness. Purified consciousness means acting in accordance with the instructions of the Lord. This is the whole sum and substance of purified consciousness. Consciousness is already there because we are part and parcel of the Lord, but for us there is the affinity of being affected by the inferior modes. But the Lord, being the Supreme, is never affected. That is the difference between the Supreme Lord and the small individual souls. What is this consciousness? This consciousness is I am. Then what I am? In contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of all I survey. I am the enjoyer. The world revolves because every living entity thinks that he is the Lord and creator of the material world. Material consciousness has two psychic divisions. One is that I am the creator, and the other is that I am the enjoyer. But actually, the Supreme Lord is both the creator and the enjoyer, and the living entity, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is neither the creator nor the enjoyer, but a cooperator. He is the created and the enjoyed. For instance, a part of a machine cooperates with the whole machine. A part of the body cooperates with the whole body. The hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all parts of the body, but they are not actually the enjoyers. The stomach is the enjoyer. The legs move, the hands supply food, the teeth chew, and all parts of the body are engaged in satisfying the stomach, because the stomach is the principal factor that nourishes the body's organization. Therefore, everything is given to the stomach.
Okay. Psychic divisions. Material consciousness has two psychic divisions. I am the creator. Alternatively, sometimes this is also called as I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. Karta or Bhokta. So, we have to understand Krishna is the ultimate doer. And we, in purified consciousness, are instruments. In contaminated consciousness, we are papis. This is what we have to understand. And as far as enjoyment is concerned, I am a thief. When nothing belongs to me, why do I start enjoying it? It is not good to enjoy someone else's land. It is not good to enjoy someone else's car. And why do I enjoy something which belongs to Krishna? This is the thought process. However, this is not easily understood because we have been thieves for millions of lifetimes. So now it has become natural for us. 100 बार किसी झूठ को अगर हम बोलेंगे, if we speak a lie 100 times, then we also start thinking that it is the truth. This is common. So from many lifetimes we have been enjoying falsely, saying this is mine, this is my family, my house, my son, my daughter, my wife, my land. So you started believing it also. But actually, Ishavasya idam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat. Whatever is there in the jagat, it belongs to Krishna. And only that person who understands that it does not belong to me, only some quota has been given to me for my survival. So therefore I should use everything in Krishna. Only that person will be able to practice satisfaction and only that person will be happy. बाकी सब लोग दुखी रहेंगे. You can bring it forward. Continue. One nourishes the tree. माइक को स्विच ऑन कीजिए. Somehow in ISKCON always the mic is a problem. I think even after 10,000 years mic will be a problem. That too in an IT city like Bangalore. The technology doesn't work.
Made by humans.
ठीक है बोलिए पढ़िए.
One
So,
nourishes the tree by watering its fruit, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. For if the body is to be kept in a healthy state, then the parts of the body must cooperate to feed the stomach. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and the creator, and we as subordinate living beings are meant to cooperate to satisfy him. This cooperation will actually help us, just as food taken by the stomach will help all other parts of the body. If the fingers of the hand think that they should take the food themselves instead of giving it to the stomach, then they will be frustrated. The central figure of creation and of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, and the living entities are cooperators. By cooperation they enjoy, the relation is also like that of the master and the servant. If the master is fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the Supreme Lord should be satisfied, although the tendency to become the creator and the tendency to enjoy the material world are those also in the living entities, because these tendencies are there in the Supreme Lord who has created the manifested cosmic world. We shall find therefore in this Bhagavad Gita that the complete whole is comprised of the Supreme Controller and the controlled living entities, the cosmic manifestation, eternal time and karma or activities. And all of these are explained in the text. All of these taken completely from the complete whole, and the complete whole is called the Supreme Absolute Truth. The complete whole and the complete Absolute Truth are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. All manifestations are due to his different energies. He is the complete whole. It is also explained in the Gita.
so many of these paragraphs, they are nothing but various verses. If you will memorize various verses from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, when you will read, you will realize, or you will clearly be able to see which verse is being transpolated, extrapolated or translated here. So when you become more mature in your reading, when you read, at that time you should just underline and write, this is the extrapolation or translation or paraphrasing of this verse. For example, the last paragraph which we have read, it is the paraphrasing of Ishopanishad's invocation mantra. Ishavasyedam sarvam, no. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. The paraphrasing of that verse is written here in translation or introduction. So this is the style of Srila Prabhupada. Whatever he writes in his purport, mostly it is paraphrasing of other verses. So therefore Prabhupada's writing is Vedavakya. Vedavakya means what is there in the Vedas. Like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they are part of Vedic literature. Now if some author is writing something and he is simply repeating in a way in which we can understand, so his words are as good as Vedavakya. Does it make sense? Continue reading.
It is also explained in the Gita that impersonal Brahman is also subordinate to the complete. Brahman is more explicitly explained.
There is translation also. Brahmano hi pratisthaham.
She has different
Acha. Addition. Okay. So Brahmano hi pratisthaham. So this is the way, even when you write your answers, when you write something, when you have to quote, like see, Prabhupada wrote one line, it is also explained, impersonal Brahman is also subordinate to the Supreme Person. What is the reference? Brahmano hi pratisthaham. This is how you have to write your answers also. Citations along with verse number also, if you put, even more complete. This is Prabhupada's style of giving lecture, style of writing. We should follow it. Continue.
Brahman is more explicitly explained in the Brahma Sutra to be like the rays of the sunshine. The impersonal Brahman is the shining rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman is in complete realization of the Absolute Whole, and so also is the conception of Paramatma. In the 15th chapter, it shall be seen that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottama, is above both impersonal Brahman and the partial realization of Paramatma. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Satchidananda Vigraha. The Brahma Samhita begins in this way: Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anavir Avir Govinda Sarva Karan Karana. Govinda, Krishna, is the cause of all causes. He is the primal cause and he is the very form of eternity, knowledge and bliss.
Impersonal Brahman realization is the realization of his Sat, eternity feature. Paramatma realization is the realization of Sat Chit, eternal knowledge. But realization of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the realization of all the transcendental features, Sat, Chit and Anand.
Yes, this you note down. Brahman realization is realization of only Sat feature, eternity. Eternity means no time factor becomes not absent, but Prabhupada's way of saying is time is conspicuous by its absence. I do not understand what it means, but time makes its presence felt by not being present there, something like that. So in Brahma Jyoti, you will experience this timelessness. Those things which don't change with time, they give you a spiritual experience. Have you noticed? For example, if you are going to a temple where the procedure of worship has not changed from last thousands of years, the moment you enter there, you feel this Sat feature. Have you realized it? Like let's say you go to Guruvayur temple or Tirupati, they have not changed anything from very, very long time. So when you go there, unless and until the pujari is like really materialistic, and then you can't do anything. You will bow down and he'll beat you with a stick on your head. Then you can't do anything. But if the pujaris are good human beings, and if you enter a place, anything which does not change, which is constant, gives you slight experience of Sat feature. For example, our morning program doesn't change. Everything else changes. So when you come to morning program, you start experiencing this eternity. Similarly, Paramatma realization is Sat and Chit, eternal knowledge. And eternal knowledge, you can say that self-realization comes to you. But still, your active seva, your practical seva has not yet started. That comes at the platform of Bhagwan realization, so therefore it has Ananda in it. If you want Ananda, then you have to start seva. Seva is not possible at the Paramatma realization platform. Practical services is possible only at the Bhagwan realization platform. So therefore Bhagwan realization has Sat, Chit and Anand, all three. And this Satchit Ananda, or this form, there is a Vigraha here. Satchidanand starts with a Vigraha. Satchidanand cannot be done with the formless. So Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, it's a form. So without form, Ananda doesn't come. Please continue.
Eternity, knowledge and bliss in complete Vigraha form. People with less intelligence consider the Supreme Truth to be impersonal, but he is a transcendental person, and this is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Katha Upanishad.
Not Katha, it is Katha. Katha or Katha mein antar. Katha Upanishad hai.
Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. As we are all individual living beings and have our individuality, the Supreme Absolute Truth is also in the ultimate issue. A person and realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features in his complete form. The complete whole is not formless. If he is formless or if he is less than any other thing, then he cannot be the complete whole. The complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience, otherwise it cannot be complete. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies. Parasya Shakti Vividhaye Shuryate. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources, which are necessary for the maintenance and sustenance of the universe.
Homework. Find out what are the 24 elements of material creation according to Sankhya Yoga chapters. Hint, you have to read the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. Lord Kapila is explaining 24 elements of material nature to his mother. You can list down and just for knowledge you can note down and keep. And they are completely adjusted to produce the complete resources which are necessary for maintenance and subsistence of this universe. This is again connected to Ishopanishad invocation mantra. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam. The Lord is complete, Purnam, and the manifestation, this material world, is also complete. How is it complete? It is completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. In that way it is complete. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Continue.
There is nothing extraneous, or is there anything needed?
So what is needed? If nothing is missing in this world, then what is missing? We always feel ye missing hai, wo missing hai, ye missing hai, wo missing hai.
That is our manufacture.
Our manufacture. Yes. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada used to say that there is no shortage of anything in this world. The only shortage is Krishna consciousness. You become Krishna conscious, everything will be in abundance. Evidence? What is the evidence of this? तो बंदर हैं तो abundance है. Most of the monkeys were coming from not Bharatvarsha but Kim Purusha Varsha. They came from there and after the war they went back there. The argument can be told कि भाई they came temporarily as visitors. And there is no need to note all this Kim Purusha Varsha and all details. But yeah, these are evidence. If you become Krishna conscious, everything will be taken care. This experience you also have in your life. If you just start depending on the holy name, everything falls in place. Any problem you have in life, you just improve your japa, things fall in place. Why things fall in place? Because your consciousness falls in place. This is the reality. And even otherwise, we see when Maharaj Yudhishthir was Krishna conscious, everything was in abundance. Prayers of Queen Kunti, 1st canto. सब कुछ abundance में है. And Kunti gives the credit of this to Krishna, saying that because you have glanced upon it, that's why everything is abundant. So, whenever you become Krishna conscious, there is no shortage of anything. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. Krishna says to my devotees, I give them what they need and I preserve what they have. So, what you need is not what you want. What you need is what you need. It's not what you want. आपको क्या चाहिए मुझे पता है. जरूरी नहीं है वो मिलेगा. But what you need, that much Krishna will provide you. This is Krishna consciousness. Continue.
This manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole, and when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is a complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete.
Complete करेंगे. Prabhupada likes to write like this. There is a verse also. There are many verses where such kind of usage of the same word throughout the verse is done. Continue reading.
So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible.
Infallible means?
One that cannot be negated.
Not false, one that cannot be negated, free of errors, which can't have mistakes. Give me the Sanskrit word for the word infallible.
Acyuta.
It is Acyuta. One who never falls down from their position. Why is the Lord called Acyuta?
Because he never falls down.
What position he never falls down?
That of excellence.
Of being the Purusha. Yes, that is the Acharya explanation. Thank you for your thought process. We will stick to the Acharya explanation. Acharyas say that the Lord has Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Balak Kriyacha. He has unlimited potencies and unlimited qualities. He can compromise all the qualities, but he cannot give up one quality, which is that Bhakta Vatsal nature. If the Lord has 64 qualities, he can give up 63 when he wants. But one quality he never gives up. That is Bhakta Vatsal nature, taking care of his devotees. For that reason he is called as Acyuta. So that means Lord is never changing. He never changes. He is the same person. Purana Purusham, Nava Yauvanam cha. Always same. So Bhagavad Gita or Vedic literature is infallible. Means its usefulness never decreases. One cannot say Bhagavad Gita was very relevant 5,000 years ago. Now it is less relevant. No. It is always relevant, always meaningful, always applicable, never changing. It's not like the constitution of a particular country, which changes every time after monsoon break when the parliament meets. Naya bill, anti-paper leak bill add कर रहे हैं. कुछ तो delete, next सरकार आएगी तो delete करेगी. So Bhagavad Gita is not like that, it is infallible. Also another reason why it is infallible, because it is coming from the infallible personality. Everything which comes from Acyuta is also Acyuta. This is spiritual consciousness. The prasadam of the Lord is Acyuta, because it is coming from Acyuta. Of course, you need to have spiritual vision to honor it. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is Acyuta, but you should have spiritual vision to apply it. Continue.
For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal, and according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the
This is Vedic injunction. Huh? These days people don't follow Vedic injunction. When people go and pass stool, they don't have bath. They think I am Brahmana. My cow's stool, my stool is also pure. Let me smear my own stool. Whatever. Immediately bath should be taken after passing stool. I am saying this specifically because many people don't follow this. Whenever you pass stool, you have to have bath. Whenever you cut hair, you have to have bath. Whenever you cut your nails, you have to have bath. Tell me other circumstances when you have to have bath. Funeral से आकर के माता जी funeral में when you have slept for long, you should have bath. Don't bring in base standards here. गृहस्थ आश्रम में फॉलो करना प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है. In temple, the standard, or in base, the standard is if you have slept for more than one muhurta, you should have bath. But in grihastha ashram, it is not very practical. So we should not be fanatic. We have to be practical. घर में कैसे? Now one of my friends, he had a child. A child is passing stool and urine every second. So he was unhappy that I am not able to maintain cleanliness while going to the altar or while. कैसे होगा? बच्चा पैदा किए हो तो standards कैसे follow होगा? So some things have to be lowered. It cannot be done at that platform. So yeah, after sleeping, one should immediately have bath. It is good if you have bath after 1 hour. Nobody is stopping you. But don't force others. All rules are meant for me, not for others. Any other situation when you should have bath? Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, or just wash your eyes, enter the kitchen and make herbal coffee. ऐसा करना चाहिए, स्पेशली माता जी जो लोग कुकिंग जाते हैं, नाइट ड्रेस में ही और किचन में प्रवेश, क्योंकि बच्चे को कुछ बना के देना है. No, we should never do this. Kitchen is considered very sacred. Actually, the Vedic injunction is in Pakshala, Yagyashala and Goshala, one should never go without having bath. Pakshala मतलब kitchen, Yagyashala मतलब जहाँ भगवान के नाम का जप या कोई यज्ञ हो रहा है, temple maybe, और Goshala. At least don't wear slippers, don't go without having bath. You will feel pure. Mother Yashoda, when she was cooking for Krishna, it is mentioned in the 10th canto, chapter number 8, I guess, Damodar Leela. She wakes up early, she has bath, she puts on a particular sari, she puts on garland in her hair, she puts on bangles, she puts on that waist belt. वो सब लिखा है. टाइम पास के लिए तो नहीं लिखा है ना. That means one has to follow all that. But कोई follow नहीं करता है. बोलिए बोलिए.
अगर किचन के लिए सेपरेट स्लीपर्स है तब वो रखना चाहिए या फिर?
I told you the Vedic injunction.
No, it is, for example, in Delhi, -2 degree, they cannot in the,
Yes.
that time they will place.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, kitchen floor used to be smeared with cow dung daily. I don't know if these generation people have seen or not, but all Yagyashala, Pakshala, वो लोग गोबर से लिपते हैं. So in those places, it's possible to walk bare feet. But you have put Kajaria tiles in your house, which is cold. And if you walk on that, then you'll start sneezing and then you'll probably die. So, if the kitchen floor is all the time wet, or if there is Kajaria tiles, then you have to wear. Do what is practical. But you should always feel that this is not the highest standard. So don't become proud. बना के दिए हैं, खाओ चुपचाप. क्या बनाए हो तुम? तुमको भी पता है, हमको भी पता है. Ideal cooking means some other thing. So we should aspire to come to that. But जो possible नहीं है, वो क्या कर सकते हैं? Some people have this problem that if they eat something, they suffer. If they drink something, they suffer. If they don't wear socks in the morning, they start coughing. तो अब उनको सेवा मिला है तो क्या ही करेंगे? In the winter season especially, we wear uttari. Some people fall sick when they do pujari seva. क्योंकि बात लेके आना है. So they put a shawl inside an uttari and then wear. But seva should continue. But keep things as clean as possible. अभी क्या करेंगे? अभी सब जगह कजारिया टाइल्स है तो क्या करेंगे?
This bathing relaxation.
Bathing relaxation.
Relaxation is it there while traveling in a train for an entire day, or we have to take a bath in the train?
Depends on person to person. Depends on your, see, as I said, all rules are for me, not for others. So whatever standard you follow, don't compromise your standard. Personally, if I pass stool in train, I have bath in train also. And those who have travelled with me, they have seen it also. So this is my standard, but I don't force it on others. किसी को नहीं बात करना है मत करो, वैसे ही कंटिन्यू करो.
Somebody is not defecating and not passing stool.
हाँ.
But since they have slept for an entire night.
Definitely.
In train also.
Definitely. I mean, as I said, this is not written in the Shastra. Train में चलो तो नहाओ. But it is up to you. It is up to you.
नहा तो ले, लेकिन धोती कैसे पहनेंगे?
ट्रेन में बात नहीं हो सकती. गंदा पानी.
You have to become friends with some people to understand how to wear dhoti in train. Some people become devotees only when they reach the destination. While going in train, they are number one karmis by wearing different dress. No, you should travel in dhoti kurta in train also. If you can spend so many hours on your phone, why can't you spend 2 minutes wearing dhoti in the train? Life is anyways a circus, don't you think?
क्वेश्चन वो ट्रेन में धोती नहीं था, बाथरूम में धोती कैसे पहनेंगे?
बाथरूम में
टॉयलेट में करने वो
Don't get into the details. Try to talk to some people who have experience. That's all. Please continue reading.
But in Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. One might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it is Vedic injunction. And indeed, by accepting this, one
Does not commit a mistake.
one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proved by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubts and mistakes, and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge.
There is no basic cow. There is no any basic cow.
The Shastra does not say desi cow, Jersey cow, or Shastra says cow.
This cow and that there is no difference. All feeding everything.
See, for all practical purposes, cow is cow. Cow is cow. And because if that would have been the case, Prabhupada would have spoken about it.
That time there is no.
No, ऐसा नहीं है. All kinds of mixture was happening. Cow is cow. See, you cannot kill all the Jersey cows saying that they are all useless cows. Cow is cow. Some cow, just like some human beings are good, some human beings are bad, does not mean you will kill the bad human beings. Human being is human being. Similarly, cow is cow. For all practical purposes, we should protect all cows.
But then, that time before that is then like a good smell. We can keep here some various comes, we can give them some medicine. Now we cannot touch this condition.
Don't know, Vedas don't say anything about all this. Vedas say cow dung is pure. Cow dung is cow dung. If anybody can show in the Vedas that cow dung is also of various varieties, I am ready to discuss. But as of now, Vedas say cow dung is cow dung. Continue.
Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because
One more evidence I have. Srila Prabhupada, whenever he used to travel, any cow's milk which is locally available, he used to drink. He used to not say, bring me Jersey cow or Desi cow, or whichever milk is locally available, he will take. Only the cow should be treated with ahimsa. So this is Prabhupada's example. He didn't say A2 milk only I will take. No. Whatever milk is available, he will take. However, it is a fact that indigenous cows, their milk quality is better. Indigenous cows should be promoted always. Indigenous means the word Desi. So Desi cow is different in different areas. In America, Desi cow is different. It is American cow is Desi cow there. In India, Indian cow is Desi cow here. So whichever is indigenous, you have to promote that. Because it is indigenous. The cows of Rajasthan are different. The ghee made from the cows of Rajasthan are different. Whole Rajasthan is desert. I mean, at least a big part of Rajasthan is a desert. So to balance the vata, the cows of Rajasthan, they give more ghee. Their milk will give more ghee. That is Krishna's arrangement. To balance the desert influence, the cows there, they give high quality ghee. But that balance is not here in Karnataka or Andhra cow. But that does not mean that just because Andhra cow gives less ghee in milk, so Rajasthan cow is more respectable, original, indigenous. ऐसा नहीं. Cow is cow. Of course, when you start treating the cow badly, then it is a problem. These days they are feeding meat to the cows. So that is not good. Milk of that cow also, if you drink, you will die only. They are putting antibodies, antibiotics or whatever injections in the cow. That is coming in the milk. That is not good. So that is now common sense. If the cow is treated like a cow, then it is cow. Then the cow dung is cow dung. Otherwise it is just some chemical. You are feeding the cow some chemicals, then what will come out? Chemical. You feed the cow grass, then cow dung will come out. है कि नहीं? चलेगा.
This cow dung is female cow only or?
Another question. ये female cow है या male cow है? Cow dung is cow dung. So.
Go away.
Cow is only female. It's a bull.
गोतिलप्पा. आगे बढ़ेंगे.
because we are researching things within perfect sense, we have to accept perfect knowledge which comes down as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita by the Parampara, disciple succession. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source of in disciple succession, beginning with the supreme spiritual master, the Lord himself, and handed down to the successor of the spiritual master. Arjuna, the student who took lesson from Lord Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him. One is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. No, we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without relation, and without our own whimsical participation in the matter. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental source, and the first words were spoken by the Lord himself. The words spoken by the Lord are called Apaurushaya, meaning that they are different from words spoken by a person of the mundane world who is infected with 4 defects.
Everybody should memorize these 4 defects. What are the 4 defects?
Mundane, first is sure to commit mistake. Second is invariable illusions. Third has the tendency to cheat others, and Fourth is limited by imperfect senses. With these four imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all prevailing knowledge.
Yes. So, there is only one person who does not, or only one type of person who does not has these four defects. That is Krishna, and also those who simply repeat the words of Krishna. They don't have these four defects. Apart from that, everybody else has four defects. And those who have four defects, they cannot deliver something which is transcendental. Why? Because they will definitely make mistakes. Number two, to hide those mistakes, they will cheat. Number three, they are always in ignorance, they are in illusion. And number four, they have imperfect senses. So, using Pratyaksha Pramana, using your senses, or using Anuman Pramana, you cannot arrive at the Supreme Absolute Truth. Only via Shabda Pramana. And that Shabda has to be taken from Krishna. This argument that everybody has four defects, this Srila Prabhupada has taken from Jiva Goswami. Or rather, Baldev Vidya Bhushan has repeated the words of Jiva Goswami, the greatest philosopher of the world. So Jiva Goswami writes that these four defects are there. And Prabhupada has used these four defects left, right, center. That is the contribution of Jiva Goswami.
This four defects, if it is with all the Jivatma, there is including Brahma also.
As long as Brahma is repeating the words of Krishna, he is not having these four defects. Otherwise, these four defects are applicable to Brahma also.
So except all the...
Does Brahma not make mistakes?
So on first point only, he is sure to commit mistakes. So suppose in repeating only there was... So how can we make sure this thing that person is repeating perfectly, having this tendency to...
Mistakes done in devotional literature are to be ignored. Bring the first canto of Bhagavatam. I will give evidence. Actually, I should be memorizing these verses, but from last 4 or 5 years, I am not memorizing any verse. I will start very soon. See the preface of Bhagavatam, first canto. Introduction, sorry. No, preface. Forward I am saying. Yeah. Tadvag visargo janatag viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhaddhavatyapi namanya anantasya yasho ankitani yash shinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame and form and pastimes of the unlimited Lord is a transcendental creation meant for bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though irregularly composed, that means even if some mistakes are there, not something serious, is heard, sung and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. This is the standard.
Then why we need second edition? On this account, then why we need second edition?
You can make it regular. There is no problem reading irregularly composed devotional literature. There is no problem reading regular composed literature also. The See, the main emphasis here is, I am trying to glorify Krishna and my grammar is not correct. But I have written my heart, it should be accepted by men who are thoroughly honest. Main point is, even if you are not a Prakanda Pandit, but if you are glorifying Krishna, people should hear you. However, if you become a Pandit and then glorify, that is even better. Did you understand? There is no harm in being a Pandit, but even if you are not a Pandit, still we should hear. Why? Because subject matter is Krishna. So that is the emphasis here. And Srila Prabhupada is writing this why? I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam. But still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of the society on the strength of the below statement 1511. Tadvag visargo janatado vitlo. I cannot glorify Krishna properly. See, Brahma is glorifying Krishna and I am glorifying Krishna. Which glorification will be better? Brahma's. Obviously. अरे मार्क्स मिलेगा भाई, ऐसा डर क्यों? अच्छा है कि टीचर बोल रहा है, टीचर ही अच्छे हैं ब्रह्मा. Brahma will glorify much better. Now, because I am glorifying Krishna, Brahma will hear me. Although I am nothing in front of Brahma. Because the subject matter is Krishna. However, it doesn't mind, Brahma will not mind if I come to the level of the four Kumaras in glorification. Aur acha hai. Are you understanding? 1511. Continue reading.
What are we trying to capture in imperfect senses? If you are talking of pure devotees of the Lord, they are following, they are in the pure consciousness.
They are not having these four defects.
So, we समझना था कि imperfect senses exactly क्या कहते हैं?
अतः श्री कृष्ण नाम आदि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम इंद्रियैः सेवन मुखे ही जिह्वादो स्वयं एव स्फुरत्यदः. Do you understand this verse? अतः श्री कृष्ण नाम आदि. नाम आदि means नाम रूप गुण लीला. अतः, therefore, the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. Na bhavet grahyam indriyaihi. Using your senses you cannot perceive it. Because senses are always in illusion and they are imperfect. Sevan mukhehi jivvadav. When you start serving Krishna through your tongue, two ways. Start chanting Hare Krishna, take prasadam. Swayam eva sprutyada. He will reveal himself to you. So using your senses, you cannot arrive at the absolute truth. This is the meaning. Using your senses, whatever estimation you do of the absolute truth, it is going to be imperfect because you are using your senses. You want to see Krishna, you are using your senses to see Krishna, it is going to be imperfect. But premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hridayesh. If you have that ointment of love, ointment of pure devotion, then even if you don't have your eyes, you can see Krishna. Example, Bilva Mangal Thakur. Imperfect sense. Easy way, biological way to understand it. I will ask you to travel all over the universe and tell me the structure of this universe. Can you do it? Even if you have the ability to travel, you cannot understand it. The structure of the universe you have to understand from Bhagavatam only. Because whatever you see is imperfect. Human beings can see only until one level. But the Devatas will be able to see at a higher level. When Arjuna goes to, this is mentioned in Mahabharata, when he goes to Amravati, he is feeling this is such a beautiful place. But then Indra tells him, you are not able to see this properly. I will give you Chakshu. And when he gives him that divine vision, then Arjuna is able to see the real beauty of Swarga. वो इतने में ही satisfied था. So that divine vision, only the Devatas have. You don't have. So what you will see? And the Devatas cannot see some things which the 4 Kumaras can see. 4 Kumaras cannot see something which Brahma can see. And there are many things which Brahma also does not see. So imperfect. आप किससे कंपेयर कर रहे हैं उस पर निर्भर करता है. You are comparing yourself to a blind person and thinking I have eyes. Very good. But what eyes you have? What is the value of your eye in front of the 1,000 eyes on the body of Indra? What is the value of your eye? इंद्र के सामने आप क्या हो? Imperfect है कि नहीं? But Indra is imperfect in comparison to the Chatushkumaras. Chatushkumaras are imperfect compared to Brahma. Brahma is imperfect compared to Lord Shiva. So in that way, everybody is imperfect. So therefore, who is perfect? Only the pure devotee is perfect. And what the pure devotee has written, the form of Krishna, accept kar lo. This is perfect. Can there be further perfection in it? Yes. There is scope for unlimited perfection in Krishna consciousness. Continue.
Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such a defective living entity. It was imparted unto the heart.
Okay, we'll do an exercise now. Till 9 a.m., no more questions. No more questions, no explanations. Explanation will come only when someone asks. It's not a question, explanation. Okay, I did not understand this. Then only. Otherwise, ये खत्म होने वाला नहीं. चलेंगे आगे.
The first created living being and Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his son and disciples.
Which page is this?
4th last.
Okay, continue.
As he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purna, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his becoming subjected to this law of living nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Prapitama because Brahma is addressed as Pitama, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather. So no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as he quota for his maintenance.
Next. Again, Prabhupada is glorifying Ishopanishad verse. First verse, what is that verse? Ishavasam idam sarvam yat kinchit digitam jan tena tyaktena bhunjita ma gridha kasya swiddhanam. This is the quota which Prabhupada is highlighting. Continue. There are many examples.
There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita in the beginning. Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsman. The decision was based on the body because he was thinking that only that the body was himself and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brother-in-law, grandfathers and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord just to change his view, and at the end, Arjuna decides to fight under the directions of the Lord. And when he says, "Karishye vachanam tava," I shall act according to your word. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature.
Why?
Conscious example. What to do, what not to do, conscious thinking.
That consciousness is there little bit in animals also.
We are following. Someone was vegetarian, they are totally vegetarian. Someone was non-vegetarian, totally non-vegetarian. But we are mixed.
Yes.
Like humans can think rationally, but still they choose to go to the wrong path.
They what are they following?
Yes.
But we are not.
Any living entity has to act based on the body that he has been given.
Yes.
Even the animal body is meant to devour other animals. However, a human being with so many alternatives available can actually choose, which is rationality, to not depend on other animals. And therefore, despite that, if he chooses.
Now, why is he punishable?
Because Lord has given all the facilities in terms
Yes.
of work for everyone, like Patram, Pilam, Respondent, etc. But if going beyond that, then it is something breaking the rules of the nature.
Yes. You all are right. I'm just looking for a very simple way to put it. With higher consciousness comes higher responsibility. In Gita courses, I explain this. If one small child runs away with someone's wallet, we will not punish the child. But if you run away with someone's wallet, what will happen to you? You will be given to police. Same activity. You have higher consciousness, so you are more punishable. So therefore, those who have taken birth in India, they are more punishable. Compared to those who have taken birth in other varshas, other than Bharatvarsha. Bharatvarsha is not just earth, more than earth is Bharatvarsha. But those who have taken birth out of Bharatvarsha, they have some other rules. Higher the intelligence, more severe is the punishment. So therefore, when devotees make some mistake, then a karmi has made a mistake and a devotee has made a mistake. Who should be punished more? Be ready. So be ready. However, a person who does not immediately repent the wrong activity done and curses himself that I am bringing bad name to the whole Vaishnava society, one who does not feel like this, he is not even a devotee. Krishna descends not to chastise the Dushkritam. He descends to chastise those devotees who have given up the path of dharma also. Example, Vali. Vali was completely cognizant that Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because Vali had given up the path of dharma, so Ram chastised him, although he was a devotee of Ram, according to Valmiki Ramayana. So Krishna descends to punish the non-devotees and the devotees. Anybody who has given up the path of dharma, तो सुधर जाओ. ये मत सोचो कि जब कर रहे हैं तो भगवान ईजिली लेंगे और मारेंगे. नेबर के बच्चों को मारना और अपने बच्चों को मारने में अंतर है. नेबर के बच्चों को एक झापड़ मार के छोड़ देंगे, अपने बच्चों को ये लोग बोले प्रभु जी आप तो 90s का बात कर रहे हैं, आजकल का बच्चा लोग को तो मार ही नहीं पड़ता. That's true actually, मैं अलग जनरेशन से. When we used to go out, we used to discuss, तुम्हारे उसको कितना पड़ा, मुझे कितना पड़ा, तुम्हारी मम्मी अच्छी है, मेरे पापा अच्छे हैं. That was our discussion. आजकल तो तुम्हारा क्या है, मेरा क्या है, दूसरा कुछ होता है. Anyways, continue reading.
He must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature. The activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also, eatables in goodness, passion and ignorance. All this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. And ultimately we will be able to reach this destination which is beyond the material sky, yad gatva na nivartante tat dhama paramam mama. That this destination is called the Sanatana sky, the eternal spiritual sky. And this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles and then vanishes. This is the law of a material world. Whether we
So you have to underline, these are the 6 things, 6 changes which come in every material existence. It comes into being, it stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles and then vanishes. 5 हुआ, 6 नहीं है. Means it grows old. Comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles and vanishes. Yeah, these are 5, not 6. 5 symptoms of every. Anywhere you see these 5 symptoms means soul is there. Immediately you should conclude. Continue.
That is the law of the material world, whether we use as an example this body or a piece of fruit or anything. But beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature which is Sanatana, eternal. The Jiva is also described as Sanatana, eternal, and the Lord is also described as Sanatana in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord, and because we are all qualitatively one, Sanatana Dharma or sky, the Sanatana Supreme personality and the Sanatana living entities, and the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatana occupation or Sanatana Dharma, which is eternal occupation of the living entity.
So Sanatana Dharma means Hinduism, correct? Then what is Sanatana Dharma? Eternal occupation of the living entity is Sanatana Dharma. So any school of thought which teaches this Sanatana occupation, it is Sanatana Dharma. Correct? So therefore don't just say Jai Shri Ram and say I am Sanatani. No. Anybody who is teaching to be a loving servant of God is Sanatana. Sanatan is not the property of Hindutva. Please continue.
We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. That is all our pure life. The Supreme Lord.
Point to be noted, we have to give up. ऐसा नहीं कि साइमल्टेनियसली ये भी करेंगे वो भी करेंगे मजा लेंगे भगवत धाम भी जाएंगे ऐसा नहीं. You have to give up. Without giving up, you cannot follow what the Supreme Lord is saying. Continue.
The Supreme Lord and His transcendental abode are both Sanatana, as are the living entities, and the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatana abode is the perfection of human life. The Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are His sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Yonisho Aham Bija Pradhapita. I am the father of all. Of course, there are all types of living entities according to their various karmas. But here, the Lord claims that He is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen conditioned souls, to call them back to the Sanatana eternal sky, so that the Sanatana living entities may regain their eternal Sanatana positions in eternal association with the Lord. The Lord comes Himself in different incarnations, or He sends His confidential servants as sons or His associates or acharyas to reclaim the conditioned souls. Therefore, Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord.
Prabhupada is also saying that Sanatana does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is eternal function. Therefore, ISKCON is open to any contemporary religion. Hindus can come, Muslims can come, Sikhs can come, Jains can come, provided they want to subscribe to this idea that we are servant of God and our constitutional position is to love God and try to serve Him. Anybody who prescribes to this is a Sanatani. Not just a person who is putting Jai Shri Ram on WhatsApp status and saying my Sanatan, not just him. So Sanatan exists outside Hindutva also. Clear? Continue.
Sanatana Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entities. Srimad Ramanujacharya has explained the word Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. So when we speak of Sanatana Dharma, we must take it for granted on the authority of Srimad Ramanujacharya that it has neither beginning nor end. The English word religion is a little different from Sanatana Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change. One may have faith in a particular process, and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entity cannot be taken from the living entity. Sanatana Dharma is eternally integral with the living entity. When we speak of Sanatana Dharma, therefore, we must take it for granted on the authority of Srimad Ramanujacharya that it has neither beginning nor end. That
which is neither end or beginning must not be sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. Those belonging to some sectarian faith will wrongly consider that Sanatana Dharma is also sectarian. But if we go deeply into the matter and consider it in the light of modern science, it is possible for us to see that Sanatana Dharma is the business of all the people of the world, nay, of all the living entities of the universe.
So those people who say that those who are born as Brahmins in the country of India, only they can be given sannyas, or this deity worship can be done only by Brahmanas. People outside India are all mlechas. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has made them into Vaishnavas. He has committed a great sin. Those who speak like this, they are bringing Sanatana Dharma as a sectarian concept. Continue.
Non-Sanatana religious faith may have some beginning in the hands of the human society, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatana Dharma because it remains eternally with the living entities. Insofar as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastras state that living entity has neither birth nor death. In the Gita, it is stated that the living entity is never born and he never dies. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. In reference to the concept of Sanatana Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. Dharma refers to that form, to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. We conclude that there is a heat and light along with the fire. Without heat and light, there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is his constant companion. That constant companion is his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal religion. When Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the Swarup of the every living being, the Lord replied that the Swarup or constitutional position of the living being is the rendering of the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we analyze this statement of Lord Chaitanya's, we can easily see that every being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. A living being serves others living beings in various capacities. By doing so, the living being entity enjoys life. The lower animals serve human being as a servant serve their master. A serve B master, B serve C masters, and C serve D master, and so on. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend. The mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in this spirit, it will be seen that there is no exception in the society of living beings to the activity of the science service. The politician presents his manifesto for the public to convince them of his capacity for service. The voter therefore gives the politician their valuable votes, thinking that he will render valuable service to society.
The shopkeeper serves the customer and the artisan serves the capitalist. The capitalist serves the family and the family serves the state in the terms of the eternal capacity of the eternal living being. In this way, we can see that no living being is exempt from rendering service to other living being. And therefore, we can safely conclude that service is the constant companion of the living being, and that the rendering of service is the eternal religion of the living being.
So you see how Prabhupada concluded, how he built his case, how he started explaining. Then A master, B master, and then he gave examples. This is serving him, artisan is serving capitalist. And then he concluded, service is common. So this is how we should also talk. Learn this bhasha. Learn this way of presentation. That is the point of reading. The way Prabhupada talks, the way Prabhupada presents. He brings in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami. Who's the? Sanatana Goswami. And then what Mahaprabhu says, that he is explaining A, B, C, D. Then he gives examples. And then he says service is common. This is the way of presentation. Continue. Yes.
Sanatana our relation is only with Supreme Personality of God. Sanatana is eternally.
Okay.
Other religion follow. We can say he is a Sanatana.
Yes. Eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. That is Sanatana Dharma. So any faith, he may be of Hindu faith, Christian faith, Sikh faith, if they come to this conclusion, they are Sanatanis.
Hindu is following today, they are called Hindu. If other religions,
Yes.
because we are following this concept, we are called a Hindu.
No. Why we are called Hindu, I don't know.
It's a word given by the Muslims because we were, as a group, situated around the Sindhu river.
Sun lo.
So, Prabhuji, when did Hindu word form and given to society?
I don't know.
The Sindhu river women, the Muhammad is called as a Sindhu, they called as a Hindu, that is that day is a Hindu.
So his question is, which is that day?
That day. That is not Muhammad, when they comes, the Muslims made in the India.
Nobody knows. What is your question exactly?
Other religions follow this process, they are called Sanatana.
We should consider them following principles of Sanatana. But if you say this openly outside, they will kill you. How?
Ramanuja says in there, there is no death, there is no birth, just starts forward. That is a Sanatana. Yeah, that's all. There is no beginning, no end. Yes, what?
Not the same as that only.
No death, no birth. This, that's always.
No beginning, no end of the ability to serve.
Then what? Just comes forward.
But there is no religion who is preaching this Sanatana.
So I think Sanatana is all place we live in.
There is no religion who preaches this idea of being Sanatana.
Yeah. Every religion is preaching the idea of Sanatana in some way, in their pure form. Hinduism, because it is trying to follow the Vedas directly, all the other faiths, they are derivations of the Vedas, or extrapolations of the Vedic literature. I am choosing my words very carefully because I am live. However, Vedic literature is the most in the present day in society. The Vedic literatures are the most pure form of transcendental sound vibration. But you will see that those who claim to follow the Vedic literature, even they are coming up with various interpretations and concoctions. And somebody told that I cannot become Ram. So someone guru, he is all the time sad. He argued that why you can't become Ram? You should go and take darshan of Ram, swallow Ram in your heart and bring that Ramatva in you and become Ram. He is Maryada Purushottam. Why? Because he is just a Purusha. He has become Purushottama by following something. He is not God. He has become God-like. So you also become God-like. This kind of nonsense.
I can relate to this.
Yeah, because of that he is all the time sad. And he calls himself Guru also. So, you see, though they are claiming to follow Vedic culture, but they are teaching something which is not recommended by the Vedic literature. So, can you call him a Sanatani? Although he is follower of Vedas, so-called follower of Vedic culture. So, anybody who is doing bhakti sincerely, they can be called Sanatanis. And the purest form of bhakti then the purest Sanatani. Continue.
If man professes to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to a particular time and circumstances, and thus claims to be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or an adherent of any other sect. Such designations are non-Sanatana Dharma. A Hindu may change his faith to become a Muslim may change his faith to become a Hindu, or Christian may change his faith, and so on. But in all circumstances, the changes of religion faith does not affect the eternal opposition of rendering service to others. The Hindu, Muslims, or Christians in all circumstances in servant of someone. Thus, to profess the particular type of faith is not to profess one Sanatana Dharma. The rendering of service is Sanatana Dharma.
So Prabhupada is very clearly telling what is Sanatana Dharma. Rendering of service is Sanatana Dharma, not just that I am a Christian or a Jain or a Hindu, so I am Sanatani. But rendering of service to whom? Next question. That Prabhupada will explain next, step by step. Continue.
Actually, we are related to the Supreme Lord in service. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Enjoyer and the living entity or his servitor. We are created for its enjoyment, and if we participate in the eternal enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we become happy.
How do we become happy? If we give pleasure to Krishna, we become happy. Continue.
We cannot become happy otherwise. It is not possible to be happy independently, just as no one part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. It is not possible for a living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of different demigods or rendering service to them is not approved. It is stated in the 7th chapter, 20th verse.
कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवताः तं तं नियमम् आस्थाय प्रकृत्या नियताः स्वया.
Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender onto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Here it is plainly said that those who are directed by lust worship the demigods and not Supreme Lord Krishna. When we mention the name Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure. And it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is the reservoir or storehouse of all pleasure.
Yes. So Krishna is not a Hindu god. If anybody is not a Hindu, then they are directed by lust to worship someone else. That is not the case. Krishna is the highest pleasure, and Krishna can be called by various names. But the Vedic literature recommends Krishna, so we are chanting Krishna. So Prabhupada is again and again telling that this Krishna consciousness is beyond Hinduism. Have you understood this? Continue.
We all are hankering and pleasure, after pleasure, Anandamaya Vyasa. The living entity like the Lord are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy, and if the living entity associate with the Lord, cooperate with him and take part in his association, then they are also become happy. The Lord descends to the mortal world to show his pastime in Vrindavan, which are full of happiness. When Lord Sri Krishna was in Vrindavan, his activities with his cowherd boyfriend, with his dancer friends, with the other inhabitant of Vrindavan, and with the cows were all the full of happiness. The total population of Vrindavan knew nothing but Krishna. But Lord Krishna even discourages his father Nanda Maharaj from worshipping the demigod Indra because he wanted to establish the fact that people need to worship any demigod.
Need not
Need
worship.
not worship any demigod. They
Philosophy मत change कीजिए.
need only worship the Supreme Lord because their ultimate goal is to return to His abode.
So this does not mean we should disrespect other demigods. Kindly take note, the demigods, Krishna loves them. They are doing services for Krishna. You are doing some seva for Krishna. Does not Krishna love you? So they are doing so much seva for Krishna. Don't you think Krishna will love them? Krishna has them in their heart because they are doing so much seva. And you start disrespecting them, how will Krishna feel? Good or bad? So therefore, we need not worship them, but we also need not disrespect them. Don't condemn them all the time. Understand that they are very high senior devotees. Some desires they had, they ended up as a devata. My desires are no better than them. I also have some similar desires only. I will also end up Sanishtha Marg. I showed you the commentary. There are some devotees who want to go to Swarga, that's why they are chanting Hare Krishna. Sanishtha, Parinishtita, Nirapeksha, many kinds of. So do not disrespect them. Don't just keep laughing on Indra all the time. Indra makes one mistake in 4 or 5 yugas. What about you? You make mistakes every hour. So, don't make fun of devotees, especially senior devotees like the Devatas. You need not worship them, but don't make fun of them. At least respect them.
Not worship them, but as per Vedas also, we need to some worship, some austerity to get the basic necessities. For example, for rain and all, we need to worship.
You chant Hare Krishna. That is complete worship of Indra.
I think from farmer perspective, whatever you get the basic necessity food, they've been provided by these all different demigods, which has been appointed by Krishna. And Veda says you need to worship them accordingly so that you get the basic things like sun, rain, different weather.
That if you worship Krishna, there is no need to worship them. Just like if you pay income tax to the Income Tax Department of India, you don't need to pay separately. Halaki, this is not a very valid example. हाँ प्रभु इनकम टैक्स भी दे रहे हैं, रोड टैक्स भी दे रहे हैं, टोल टैक्स भी दे रहे हैं. Ideally, if you pay to the central government of India, you don't need to pay anywhere. So similarly, if you worship Krishna sincerely, you don't need to worship any other devatas. There is no need. If you want, you can worship, but there is no need as such. However, if you don't worship Krishna, you definitely have to compulsorily worship the devatas, otherwise you will become a sinner.
Actually,
if someone is worshipping Krishna as well and demigod as well, and we are telling not to worship demigods, isn't it disrespect towards the demigod?
No, you have to just explain that if you are worshipping the master, the servant is already happy. No need to again worship the servant also. If, see, it all depends on their consciousness. Are they worshipping the servant as a servant? Then it's okay. But if they are worshipping the servant as the supreme, then it's a problem. That you have to object. If somebody is a devotee of Krishna and at the same time has deep respect for Kuvera, what's your problem? There's no problem. Let him worship Kuvera. But he should know that Kuvera is a servant of Krishna. If he starts thinking Kuvera is also as good as Krishna, then you object. He has time, let him use his time the way he wants.
प्रभुजी, we are practicing Krishna consciousness. तो हम लोग जैसे वो पितृपक्ष या जो पूजा करवा चौथ ये दीपावली ये सब करना हम कर सकते हैं लॉकडाउन में कर
आपके पास टाइम है तो करो,
कुछ चीज़ होते नहीं
रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, टाइम है तो करो, आपका टाइम है, आपका पैसा है, योर टाइम योर मनी.
तो बोला था करना जब पितृपक्ष में पानी देना पड़ेगा वो करना नहीं कर सकते किसका नमस्कार
आपका टाइम आपका पानी है. If you have time, you do it. There's no harm in doing it. There's no harm in doing it, but you should do it with the consciousness that the highest service to my Pitris is done by reading Bhagavatam and by chanting Hare Krishna. Not just going to Gaya and doing Pinddan and not doing any devotional service after that. No. There's no harm in going and even Lord Chaitanya went to do Pinddan. There's no harm in doing it. However, the highest thing which you can do for your Pitris is to chant Hare Krishna, read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita when they die, and read Bhagavatam. That is the best service. And if you have time, go to Gaya, do Pitri Paksh, give Pani. It all depends on the consciousness. If your consciousness is proper, then you can do other activities. However, there is no need as such. But to set a good example or to continue to follow the family tradition or not to create disturbances, sometimes you have to do, so you do. In somebody's family, Navratri is being done from the last 50,000 years. Like they say like that. Then why you want to break the family tradition? You offer the bhoga to Lord Krishna and then offer it to Mother Durga and continue Navratri. At least until your seniors are there on your head, you continue.
What to choose, Prabhuji? Doing Navratri or going to Vrindavan Yatra? It's classic for my parents. They cancelled the tickets.
Your problems are your problems.
But I'm asking for general. It's happening everywhere.
In general, one should give priority to Krishna because He is the Supreme Personality of God. This is what Krishna wants and that's what He did in Govardhan Lila. He asked everybody to focus on Him. But one cannot force. Krishna, everybody loved Him. They did it willingly. You cannot force your parents. If they are ready to do willingly, then they will understand what's the right thing. But if you start forcing them, cancel karo, chalo, they'll curse you. That is not good for you.
So, Prabhuji, it has the knowledge gap throughout the generation that the Gurus did not consider Krishna as the Supreme and they started worshipping the demigods. I mean, I'm just trying how it happened.
Yeah, due to bad association. Materialistic association, bad association, they have forgotten Krishna. And this is common. Even the son of Krishna, Narakasur, got bad association with Banasur, and even he stopped worshipping his own father. So it happens.
And also, there are big temples like Mahakal, right? Mahakaleshwar, Ujjain, and Vaishnavi. So nearby people or areas are very much influenced spiritually from the demigods, so they consider them as supreme.
Those who consider demigods as supreme, they are rascals. One should not associate with rascals, according to Lord Krishna. Those who consider the demigods even equal to Krishna, forget about superior to Krishna, they are also pashandis. Slowly they will become atheists. One should not associate. Continue reading, Baba. आज भी खत्म नहीं होगा लग रहा है.
The abode of Lord
Sri Krishna is described in the Bhagavad Gita 15 chapter 6 verse. Na tat vyasate suryo na sasanko na pavaka yad tatva nivartante tad dhamam tamam mama. The supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by the fire or electricity. Those who reaches it never return to this material world. This verse gives a description of that eternal sky. Of course, we have a material conception of the sky, and we think of it is in relationship to the sun, moon, star, or so on. But in this verse, the Lord states that in the eternal sky there is no need of the sun, nor for the moon, nor electricity or fire of any kind, because the spiritual sky is already illuminated by the
Brahma Jyoti.
The ray emanating from the Supreme Lord. We are trying with difficulty to reach other planets, but it is not difficult to understand the abode of the Supreme Lord. This abode is referred to Goloka. In the Brahma Samhita 5.37, it is beautifully described. Goloka eva nivasatya akhilatam bhuta. The Lord resides eternally in his abode Goloka. Yet he can be approached from this world, and to this end the Lord comes to manifest his real form, Satchit Anand Vigraha. When he manifests this form, there is no need for our imagining what he looks like. To discourage such imaginative speculations, he descends and exhibits himself as he is, as Shyam Sundara. Unfortunately, the less intelligent deride him because he comes as one of us and plays with us as a human being. But because of this, we should not consider the Lord one of us. It is by his omnipotency that he presents himself in his real form before us and display his pastime, which is the replica of those pastimes found in his abode. In the effulgent ray of spiritual
Next
sky,
person can read.
In the effulgent rays of spiritual sky, there are innumerable planets floating. The Brahma Jyoti emanates from the supreme abode, Krishna Loka, and the Anandamaya, Chinmaya planets, which are not material, float in those areas. The Lord says, Na tad bhashayate suryano shashanko na pavakaha. Yat tattva nivasante tad dama paramam mama.
So there is one joke here. स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में सब लोग चले जाएंगे, बस शशांक नहीं जाएगा. This is one joke. One of my friends was Shashank. सब जाएंगे, तुम नहीं जाओगे. Continue, please. Sorry.
One who can approach that spiritual sky is not required to descend again to the material sky. In the material sky, even if we approach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, what to speak of the moon, we will find the same conditions of life, namely birth, death, disease and old age. No planet in the material universe is free from these four principles of material existence. The living entities are traveling from one planet to another, but it is not that we can go to any planet we like merely by a mechanical arrangement. If we desire to go to other planets, there is a process for going there. There is also mentioned, Yanti Deva Vrata, Devan Pitram Yanti Pitra Vrata. No mechanical arrangement is necessary if we want interplanetary travel. The Gita instructs, Yanti Deva Vrataha Devan. The moon, the sun and higher planets are called Swargaloka. There are three different statuses of planets: the higher, middle and lower planetary systems. The Earth belongs to the middle planetary system. Bhagavad Gita informs us how to travel to the higher planetary systems. Therefore, with a very simple formula, Yanti Deva Vrataha Devan. One need only worship the particular demigod of that particular planet and in that way go to the moon, the sun or any of the higher planetary systems.
See, this is valid in material world also. You start worshipping some politician, one day you will meet him. Because he'll come to know मेरा worshipper है कि नहीं? Similarly, you start worshipping some devata, he will come to know. And then he'll call you, oh, let's have some lunch together. And then he'll take you to his abode. This is the process. Later on we will discuss the moon landing, not today. आगे बढ़ेंगे.
Yet Bhagavad Gita does not advise us to go to any of the planets in this material world, because even if you go to Brahmaloka, the highest planet, through some sort of mechanical contrivance, by maybe traveling for 40,000 years, and who would live that long? We will still find the material inconveniences of birth, death, disease and old age. But one who wants to approach the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, or any other planet within the spiritual sky, will not meet with these material inconveniences. Amongst all the planets in the spiritual sky, there is one supreme planet called Goloka Vrindavana, the original planet in the abode of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. All of this information is given in the Bhagavad Gita, and we are given through this instruction information how to live the material world and begin a truly blissful life in the spiritual sky. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the real picture of the material world is given. It is said that Urdhva Moolam Ada Sakam Ashwatam Prahur Avyaham Chandahamshu Yasya Parnani Yes Tam Veda Sa Vedavit. Here the material world is described as a tree whose roots are upwards and branches are below. We have experience of a tree whose roots are upward. If one stands on a bank of a river or any reservoir of water, we can see that the trees reflected in the water are upside down. The branches go downward and the roots upward. Similarly, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. The material world is but a reflection of spiritual world. Material world is but a shadow of reality. Point
to be noted. Spiritual world is the substance. Material world is the shadow. Reality is spiritual world. That's why this ulta picture has been given. Material world में सब कुछ उल्टा है. Reality is spiritual world. Continue.
In the shadow, there is no reality or substantiality. But from the shadow we can understand that there are substance and reality. In the desert there is no water, but the myths suggest that there is such a thing as water. In the material world there is no water, there is no happiness, but the real water of actual happiness is there in the spiritual world. The Lord suggests that if we attain the spiritual world in the following manner: Nirvana Moha Chitta Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kamaha Dvandvai Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Samatmi Gachanti Amuraha Padam Avyaham Tat. That Padam Avyaham or eternal kingdom can be reached by one who is Nirvana Moha. What does this mean? We are after designations. Someone wants to become sir, someone wants to become lord, someone wants to become the president or rich man or a king or something else. As long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body, because designations belong to the body. But we are not these bodies, and realizing this is the first stage in spiritual life.
Here body does not simply mean physical body. Here body means subtle body also.
We are associated
One second, I'm just... Sometimes I give dramatic pauses just to continue. Many people say, oh, I want to be a yogi. Now yogi knows that my journey is of many lifetimes. So I will assume various bodies. So I am not attached to the body, so I want to be a yogi. No, you are attached to the subtle body. Subtle body of mind, intelligence and ahankar. Most of the things like this, Sir, Lord, this is at the subtle level, although it is very gross still. But your so-called Sir or Lord or everything will end with your body. The subtle body. Similarly, when Prabhupada says that in all 14 planetary systems there is birth, death, old age and disease, as you go higher, things start becoming subtler. One can argue that I have never seen anyone falling sick in Devaloka. And you cannot deny also. I have not seen anybody dying in Devaloka. It's a fact, nobody dies in Devaloka. Either they are killed in battle and they are again revived by Somarasa, or they disappear after one manvantara. And that is why even the Devatas call Bhuloka as Mrityuloka. There are two kinds of residents in Devaloka. One is the green card holders and one the visitors, visitor visa. Visitor visa are those people who do some punya karma and they go for, let's say, 10,000 years there. So for 9,999 years, they will simply enjoy. In the 10,000th year, they will produce a child. In one moment, that child will become, in one muhurta, that child will become a 16-year-old boy or girl. And then after that, they have finished their piety, they will be pushed down from the higher planetary systems to the Bhuloka. And then based on their piety, they will take birth in mostly in Bharatvarsha only. People from Swarga don't take birth in other Varshas because other Varshas have higher opulence or as good as opulence as Swargaloka. Those who are green card holders, they live for one manvantara. That means 71 cycles of 4 yugas. And after that, they just disappear. They are pushed aside into other species, simply. So nobody dies as such. But in a subtle way, death is there or not. Similarly in Brahmaloka. So death is always there. That's why Prabhupada's statement is absolutely correct. And whenever he says body, he means gross body and subtle body both. Don't just think this body. Most of the things are subtle. The diseases of Devaloka are subtle diseases. Just like we have a subtle disease called lust. However, we gratify our lust using our body. The Gandharvas, they don't gratify their lust using their body. They gratify their lust by singing. But lust is there, disease is there. So always remember, whenever Prabhupada says bodily designations, it means gross and subtle both.
But Prabhuji, subtle body का designation कैसे है?
Very good. You have the same mind and the same false ego in various lifetimes. Same intelligence. Now you start functioning in that way. So therefore you want to have some necessities, some facilities. आपको अधिकार जताना अच्छा लगता है. उस अधिकार को नाम क्या मिलेगा, चीफ मिनिस्टर नाम मिलेगा या गवर्नर नाम मिलेगा या चोर नाम मिलेगा, वो पता नहीं. लेकिन अधिकार जताने की इच्छा है. हम अधिकारी हैं. डेजिग्नेशन है, सटल है, उसका नाम चेंज होता है, लेकिन आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? कंटिन्यू रीडिंग.
We are associated with the 3 modes of material nature.
Which page is this?
21. Last 3 lines.
Correct.
But we must become detached through devotional service to the Lord. If we are not attached to devotional service to the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the modes of material nature. Designations and attachments are due to our lust and desire, our wanting to lord it over the material nature. As long as we do not give up this propensity of lording it over material nature, there is no possibility of returning to the kingdom of the Supreme, the Sanatana Dham. That eternal kingdom, which is never destroyed, can be approached by one who is not bewildered by the attractions of false material enjoyments. who is situated in the service of the Supreme Lord. One so situated can easily approach that Supreme Abode. Elsewhere in the Gita 8.21, it is stated, Avyakto akshara iti yuktas tam ahu paramam gati yam prapyana nivartante tadadham paramam mam namah. Avyakta means unmanifested. Not even all of the material world is manifested before us. Our senses are so imperfect that we cannot even see all of the stars within this material universe. In the Vedic literature, we can see much information about all the planets, and we can believe it or not believe it. All of the important planets are described in the Vedic literatures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. And the spiritual world, which is beyond this material sky, is described as Avyakta, unmanifested. One should desire and hanker after that supreme kingdom. For when one attains that kingdom, he does not have to return to this material world. Next, one may raise the question of how one goes about approaching that abode of the Supreme Lord. Information of this is given in the 8th chapter. It is said there, Antakale cha mahameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhava yadi nasti yatra samshaya. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me, alone at once attains my nature.
The word alone is very important. Huh? You have to remember me alone, Krishna alone. That means nobody else other than Krishna. You have to remember. And if you want to be further confused, and Krishna means Krishna, the pure devotees of Krishna, the Dham of Krishna, the paraphernalia of Krishna and the plenary incarnations of Krishna. तो इन सब लोगों के बारे में सोचना मतलब Krishna alone. Did you understand? You think of Krishna and his pure devotees means it's Krishna alone. In that way you have to think. Yeah, continue.
Of this there is no doubt. Bhagavad Gita 8.5. One who thinks of Krishna at the time of his death goes to Krishna. One must remember the form of Krishna. If he quits his body thinking of this form, he surely approaches the spiritual kingdom.
This is why deity worship is very important. Those who do deity worship daily, there is a very good probability that they will think of the form of Krishna at the time of death. Those who don't do deity worship, they will think of the form of, I think we are understanding what I am saying. That's all. वही होगा जो आप सोच रहे हैं. आगे बढ़ेंगे.
Madhbhava refers to the supreme nature of the supreme being. The supreme being is Satchidananda Vigraha. That is, his form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Our present body is not Satchidananda. It is Asat, not Sat. It is not eternal. It is perishable. It is not Chit, full of knowledge, but it is full of ignorance. We have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor do we even have perfect knowledge of this material world, where there are so many things unknown to us.
The body is also eternal. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. All the miseries we experience in the material world arise from the body. But one who leaves this body, thinking of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at once attains Satchidananda body.
So can we commit suicide thinking of Krishna? I am going to leave my body. Hare Krishna. Jump. I am leaving my body thinking of Krishna. What's the challenge?
Before Jiva Samadhi, sannyasi Jiva Samadhi. That is what?
Suicide? No. Samadhi, they are in the stage of Samadhi. Yeah. See, anybody who has reached the stage of Samadhi, whenever they want, they can leave their body. This is a fact. If you reach the stage of Samadhi, you can sit on that chair and go. Nobody can stop you. What can government stop someone? Now, some people did it publicly. that I'll go inside a cave, you block it, or I'll lie down, you bury me. So if you want to take Jeev Samadhi, do it privately. If you do it publicly, then what if anybody imitates you and dies like that? Like when there was one serial called Shaktiman. When it came, children started jumping that Shaktiman will come and save me. So therefore, government will bring in some rules and regulations. So government is not against Jeev Samadhi if you are at the level of Samadhi. But the government is against those people who are not at the level of Samadhi and they are trying to take Jeev Samadhi. In that way we have to see. Who can stop a Samadhi person? So a person committing suicide is not at the level of Samadhi. Remembering Krishna at the time of death is Samadhi. But suicide is not Samadhi. Suicide is something else. So suicide is very, very dangerous. In Tata Motors, they made a rule that if you die, your job, your PA, your DA, your allowances and everything will be given to the next family member. Untimely death. But if you commit suicide, nothing will go to your family. And by mistake, if you commit suicide and you did not die, then you will lose your job also. This is the rule. So people were saying that suicide acha nahi hai. Like that they were discussing. I was hearing that discussion. So suicide is very, very dangerous. As per the laws of nature, you will be double punished, triple punished. You will be suffering like anything. So therefore, those who commit suicide, one should not sympathize with them. They have done something very stupid. This neat paper and all. Children committing suicide, they don't know what they are doing. Suicide is the worst thing to do. It is like rebellion, abortion, suicide, contraceptives. These are against the laws of material nature, and 10 times, 20 times, 1,000 times reactions will come. Should never get into all these things. Yes.
Knowingly, multiple times we eat unhealthy food or something, right? So that is not considered to be like slow poisoning and so.
Your money, your body, your stomach. Anyways, the body is full of misery. You are increasing the misery by eating, so you'll have to go through it. Suicide here means giving up the body. Don't take it in any other context. I am having sore throat and I start drinking ice cold water. People will say, why you are committing suicide? Actually, मैं suicide नहीं कर रहा हूँ, but misery बढ़ रहा है. The intention here to say is that why you are increasing your misery. Suicide only happens when you quit the body before time. It's a rebellion against the laws of nature. Continue reading, please. Mayank Prabhu will read. Praveen Prabhu.
The process of quitting the body and getting another body in the material world also organized. A man dies after it has been decided what form body he will have in the next life. Higher authorities, not the living entity, make the decision. According to our activities in this life, we either rise or sink. This life is preparation for the next life. If we can prepare, therefore, in this life to get promotion to the kingdom of God, then surely after quitting this material body, we will attain a spiritual body just like the Lord's. As explained before, there are different kinds of transcendentalists. The Brahmavadi, Paramatmavadi and devotee, and as mentioned in the Brahma Jyoti spiritual state. There are innumerable spiritual planets. The number of these planets is far greater than all the planets of this material world. This material world has been approximated as only 1/4 of the creation. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat. In this material segment, there are billions and billions of universes with trillions of planets and suns, stars, and moons. But this whole material creation is only a fragment of the total creation. Most of the creation is the spiritual side. One who desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Brahman is at once transferred to the Brahmajyoti of the Supreme Lord and thus attains spiritual side. The devotee who wants to enjoy association of the Lord enters into the Vaikuntha planet, which are innumerable. The Supreme Lord by his plenary expansion as Narayana with 4 hands and with different names like Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Govinda associates with the Dev. Therefore, at the end of life, the transcendentalists think either of the Brahmajyoti, the Paramatma or Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. In all cases, they enter into the spiritual sky. But only the devotee or he who is in personal touch Supreme Lord enters into the Vaikuntha planets or the Goloka Vrindavana planet. The Lord further adds that of this there is no doubt. This must be viewed firmly. We should not reject that which does not tally with our imagination. Our attitude should be that of Arjuna. I believe everything that you have said. Therefore, when the Lord says that at the time of death, whoever thinks of him, Brahman or Paramatma or the personality of Godhead certainly enters into the spiritual state. There is no doubt about it. There is no question disbelieving it.
Okay, now just go on reading. We'll just finish. Almost everything conceptual is covered.
The Bhagavad 8.6 also explains the general principle that makes it possible to enter the spiritual kingdom simply by thinking of the Supreme at the time of death. Yam Vapi Smaran Bhava Tyajantate Kalevaram Tam Tam Avati Kaunteya Sat Tat Bhava Bhavita. Whatever state of being one remember when the which is present body, in this next life he will attain to the state without fail. Now first we must understand that material nature is a display of one of the energies of the spiritual Lord. In the Vishnu Purana 6.7.61, the total energies of the Supreme Lord is delineated. Vishnu Sakta Para Prokta Kshetra Janakya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samajaneya Titya Shakti Ishate. The Supreme Lord has diverse and innumerable energies which are behind our conception. However, great learned sages have liberated souls have studied these energies and have analyzed them into 3 parts. All of the energies are of Vishnu Shakti, that is to say that they are different potencies of Lord Vishnu. The first energy is para transcendental living entities, also being up to the superior energy. He has already been explained. The other energies of material energies are in the modes of ignorance at the time of death. Either we can remain in the inferior energy of the material world, or we can transfer to the energy of the spiritual world. So the Bhagavad Gita 8.6 says, Yammam api smaran bhavam tyajantate kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya sattat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remember when he possesses his present body, in his next life he will attain to the state without fail. In life we are accustomed to thinking either of the material of the spiritual energy. Now how we can transfer our thoughts from the material energy to the spiritual energy. There are so many literatures which fill our thoughts with the material energy, newspapers, magazines, novels, etc. Our thinking which is now observed in these literatures must be transferred to the Vedic literature. The great sages therefore have written so many Vedic literature such as the Puranas. The Puranas are not imaginative. They are historical records. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.22 there is the following verse. माया मुक्ता जीवेरे नहीं त्वात कृष्ण ज्ञान जीवेरे कृपे कलैवा कृष्ण वेद पुराण.
Next person can read.
The forgetful living entities or conditioned souls have forgotten their relationship with Supreme Law and they are engrossed in thinking of material activities just to transfer their thinking power to the spiritual side. Krishna, Prantya, Vaishya has given a great number of Vedic literature. First, divided the Vedas into four, then he explained them in Puranas, and for less capable people, he wrote the Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, there is given the Bhagavad Gita. Then all Vedic literature is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he gave a natural commentation on the Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. We must always engage our mind in reading these Vedic literature just as materialists engage their minds in reading newspaper, magazine and so many materialistic literature. We must transfer our reading to those literatures which is given to us by Vasudeva. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember this Supreme Lord at the time of death.
So, point to be noted here, those who read newspapers, magazines and materialistic literature and novels, they are materialist. Those who read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita in the Vedanta Sutras, they are transcendentalist. Whatever you read, that is what you will think. The choice is yours. Whether you want to absorb yourself in the news of this material world or the news of the spiritual world. Be very careful about it. Be very, very careful about it. Those who read Instagram, Facebook, they are also materialistic. Those who read Bhagavatam, they are spiritual. Those who read Bhagavad Gita, they are spiritual. First become Vairagi, then talk about Yukta Vairagi. Some people will argue, oh, we are going to Instagram to post Prabhupada's status. First you become Vairagya. And on the foundation of Vairagya, Yukta Vairagya is built. Your Vairagya is zero. And you are talking about Yukta Vairagya. That doesn't make sense. First practice detachment from this newspaper, movies, TV serials, magazines, novels, Instagram. Then once you have sufficiently practiced this Vairagya, then get into Yukta Vairagya. Then when somebody instructs you that, okay, use the social media to promote Krishna, then you come. What is this that we spend so much time on YouTube? That is not different from reading a newspaper. So, to divert our mind, Jivera Krishna Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. Just to help us, this Veda Purana has been written, but there are so many people who have not read Prabhupada's books. Even if 10 years you give them, they will not read once Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam also. But they have read so many other things. So this is the main problem. If reading improves in ISKCON, everything will be, all problems will be solved. The main problem is people don't read. They don't like reading. They only like talking and fighting and complaining. Continue.
That is the only way suggested by the Lord, and He guarantees the result. There is no doubt. Tasmat sarveshu kareshu mam anushpara yuddhacha maya arpita mano buddhi mam avishesha asmasya. Therefore, Arjun, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time continue your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and the influences fixed on me, you will be attended me without doubt. He doesn't advise Arjun simply to remember him and give up his occupation. No, the Lord never suggests anything in
practical. In this material world, in order to maintain the body, one has to work. Human society is divided according to work into 4 divisions of social order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. The Brahmana class or intelligent class is working on the way, the Kshatriya or administrative class is working in another way, and the mercenary class and other levels are all attending to their specific duties. In the human society, whether one is labor, merchant, administrator or farmer, or even if one belongs to the highest class and is a literate man, a scientist or a theologian, he has to work in order to maintain existence. The Lord therefore tells Arjuna that he needed to give up the occupation, but
while he is engaged in his occupation, next person, Odappa.
But while he is engaged in his occupation, he should remember Krishna, Mam Anusmaran. If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death.
Point to be noted. If one doesn't practice Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it is not possible to remember at the time of death. That means if you are not doing proper sadhana, you cannot think of Krishna at the time of death. Don't aspire for an honorary PhD degree. Get the PhD. Not everybody will become Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So in ISKCON, everybody wants to become a Kripa Siddha. I'll have a nonsense sadhana, but कृपा मिल जाएगा प्रभु जी. गुरु महाराज कृपा करेंगे, सब कृपा हो जाएगा. कृपा नहीं मिलता है. सब लोग धोनी नहीं बन सकते. Dhoni never went to, he doesn't have a graduation degree also, but he can get a PhD degree. दे दिया है क्या? Honorary PhD. Dhoni never went to the army, but he is a major. हाँ, PhD मिल दिया. बताओ. So Kripa Siddhas are exceptions. People like Putana, they are exceptions. Don't aspire for that. Become a sadhana siddha or try to become a very serious sadhaka. There is difference between aspiration and vow. Aspiration means today I want to chant 32 rounds. I am taking sankalpa. I'll try my best. But vow is I will chant minimum 16 rounds daily. If your sankalpa breaks, still it is understood. But if your vow breaks, it is very, very serious. Vows should not break. One person came and told Prabhupada, I am not able to follow the vows of initiation. But Prabhupada said, but you already promised. No, Prabhupada, but now I will not be able to follow. Prabhupada, but you already promised. That means you cannot break your promise. Breaking promise is very sinful. This is called sadhana. Struggle for existence is going on for everybody. During that, do very sincere sadhana. Then you can think of Krishna at the time of death. Otherwise, you will think of that person only. Understood, na?
Lord Chaitanya also advises this. He says, Kirtanya Sadhakari. One should practice chanting the name of the Lord always. The name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instructions to Arjuna are to remember me, and Lord Chaitanya's instruction to always chant the name of Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference between.
Very important point. Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha is not different from Kirtanya Sadahari. We can follow in the footsteps of Krishna, Arjuna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Continue.
There is no difference because Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. In the absolute status, there is no difference between difference, reference and referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day.
How many hours a day? 2 hours? 4 hours? 6 hours? 8 hours कैसे? और प्रभुपाद इज सो इम्प्रैक्टिकल. 24 आवर्स कोई कैसे रिमेंबर कर सकता है? कोई काम नहीं करेंगे क्या? काम करते हुए always. Bhakti means 24/7. If you have made it a 2-hour affair, or if you have made a weekly affair, it is not bhakti. It is something else. So Prabhupada is a Nirapeksha platform Acharya, and he teaches Nirapeksha Bhakti, not conditioned Bhakti or Guni Bhuta Bhakti or even Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. He teaches Kevala Bhakti. Keval Bhakti karo. If you have a problem, talk to Prabhupada. Because only Kevala Bhakti leads you back home, back to Godhead in one life. Other forms of Bhakti will ultimately lead you back to Godhead. But when, only God knows. You also don't know. But if you are practicing Kevala Bhakti, you are sure. When His Holiness Kadamba Kanand Swami Maharaj was quitting his body, he was confidently saying, I will see you on the other side. इसको बोलते हैं केवल भक्ति. मरते समय कॉन्फिडेंस है कि मैं भगवत धाम जा रहा हूँ. आपका सिचुएशन क्या होगा मरते समय? कदम कानंद स्वामी महाराज, His Holiness Kadamba Kanand Swami Maharaj, a sannyasi in ISKCON, when he was dying, he was saying, I will see you in the other side. And people asked him what we should do. He said, just chant 16 rounds, read Srila Prabhupada books, follow the 4 regulative principles, follow Prabhupada's instructions. I will see you on the other side. This much faith he had. But उतना ही नहीं होता है. ज़्यादा कुछ करने नहीं बोल रहे. चलिए.
By chanting His names and molding our life's activities in such a way that we